kamal musulang rubak eragi mamu lagi maldi sama maldi mo other sa social kamal mora rubukul mar maasil belaw president mar mga takkel ablur belaw maragul adra ablur belaw madira katubat sa rogul ngal ablur belaw el alto taw yakora alung mo hostra shower git so kal ngomay yung ulmasang gipa mo muna sulang.
Thank you. Ale Marlungin Tutao. My name is Alung Hideyos, and I will be sort of keeping the conversation going for our talk this morning. I just want to thank everybody who's listening today. We have here some of our Ocean Youth Delegates that participated in our Oceans Conference this month, and just to start off, I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves, who they are, and what do they do. So I'll start. My name is Alung. I am a Palau Youth Delegate representing Ngaraard State, and I also work for Ebiil Society as the Research and Data Management Associate. And right now, my work focuses on searching for more research opportunities in biological and also social sciences to connect the modern science and also traditional knowledge, Palau traditional knowledge. So I will give it up to David.
Ali, and good morning, Palau. Thank you so much for joining in today. My name is David Willimer, and I am originally from Zambia, which is completely surrounded by other countries. Other people call that being landlocked. I call it being land-linked because, like the minister said at some point during the week, the ocean connects us, it doesn't divide us. But I live and work in South Africa and I work as a maritime security research officer. So basically what that means is that I help capacitate African governments, regional economic communities, and the continental body called the African Union on how to best structure their policies to respond to maritime insecurity, and in that way also advance blue economies. So I'm really happy to be here. It's been a great time. Palau has been great. The people have been great. The food, everything has just been amazing. So thank you, Alex.
Tutao, everyone. My name is Alexandra Guzman. I'm from Panama. I'm representing the youth delegation from Panama in our Ocean Conference 2022. I'm so glad to be here with all of you and represent my country from Central America, the only one. And yeah, I currently work as marine technician for Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute in Panama. I work with water quality monitoring like 4 years ago with a lot of project data logger sensors, monitoring, daily monitorings in the Bay of Panama, in the Gulf of Panama, and also sensors in all the country, taking temperature data, sea level rising data, precipitations. This program manage a lot of data for projects and for research questions for the institute, and also to the research Panamanian researchers that are looking for solutions to confronting climate change. I don't know what to say. Okay, I'm so glad to be here, and yeah, thank you for this invitation.
Ali malungil tutaw ang akang kay madaong Sato, ang fishery officer Ebiil Society Inc. Rere karel alta mostly coder labantri or other below. Alosi ako nges so malubang identify ay tira auspe malubang issues tira face and especially tirigal adalabalu wallo special coastal fishery tirigal adalo mangedrat kulabalu malubang kariger Aldi mainly to promote sustainable fishery. Kidira kalorier la matatirangal ka school, sa aklarangal ka school at environment, matakora conservation. Nga kadira kamlawan ra youth ra LL our ocean sa lam era balur bela maabil mabalurang along.
Ali, good morning, everyone. My name is Seth Techitong. I'm a Palau youth delegate, and I represent the state of Ngatpang. I am the Protected Areas Network Coordinator for the Ngatpang state. And what we do is we manage 3 sites, 3 marine protected areas. And through our work plan that was made by us, me, the governor, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Environment. I'm so glad to be here, and thank you for having me.
Okay, so just going into more about the conference, what have you learned from the conference? What was your experience through the whole week? And maybe we can start with Seth and then go this way.
So, what I learned from this this past week, is in my field, in where I work, I feel like everything was just there, and there was no, I could reach out here and there, but my information would be only limited. But working here, being here, and being with all these youth delegates who are young professionals who specialize in these little fields that all come together, in my eyes, I feel like it's all, I could get little pieces from everyone and have inputs from everyone to, improve and manage my sites. So I use this as an opportunity to learn and at the same time meet a lot of, genuine people. Yeah.
So for our Oceans conference, there were 6 thematic areas, and us youth were assigned to the different thematic areas where we focused on our own commitments. So there was marine pollution, climate change, there was maritime security, sustainable fisheries,
Marine protected areas,
and there was one more,
blue economy.
A blue economy. So we all had our different thematic areas, and we worked together in our groups to come up with our commitments and our output statements. But as another one was we had a collective commitment of all of us to present in our Oceans plenary. So we can go on to Ime, talk about her experience.
Marlungin total, and for me, from my experience, like what Seth just said, it was an opportunity for us to network and have others help us in certain areas that we are lacking in our own field. And so it was an opportunity for me to realize other things that I should be aware of, especially in the work that I'm doing right now. And that could be science, basically science or finance or different areas. And some of them I did not know I had to think about during the work I'm doing. But because of the conference, I was able to identify my needs and also really just find more support to the work I'm doing. So, yeah, I learned a lot, and that's pretty much what I gained.
Well, for me, it has been an enriching experience to be able to share together with professional students and scientists from different branches in search of the same goal, to save and protect our oceans. In addition, being the first time that our ocean conference is organized by a small island developing state such as the Republic of Palau has been a unique opportunity to learn from them about their culture and traditions. And I really appreciate this because this, remember, as my communities, indigenous communities in Panama, we have 5, and this make me so proud also for my country and how all the Palauans have these traditions, their language, their culture. Like, you can see them and you know, like, you learn about them just only to see them, their clothes, their language, how they express. This is really, really value for me to learn about them. And this conference make me like growing up in like in my professional life, and also like a person like myself. From this conference, I really learned that we must fight together to combat the climate crisis and all threats facing the oceans and the environment in general. Fight for public policies for the protection of our ecosystems, such as mangroves, marshes, estuaries, corals, among others, which are affected by deforestation, pollution, agrochemicals, etc. So I want to take all that I learned, all that I share with all the youth delegates and scientists and professionals, and people that came here for this conference. I want to bring all my knowledge to my country, to grow up, and to give like awareness to kids and adults, and also to my coastal areas in my country, and like that, protect our oceans and fight for it. Thank you.
I learned how to swim in the ocean. Jokes. Seriously though, I think the biggest thing for me is that we have work to do. I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned, and we need to, in a manner of speaking, stop working in silos. I think from this table already we can see that coming into the conference, we all were in our own, corners, knowing what we know and doing what we do. But coming here, we have realized that I have something to learn from each and every person. And we saw this when we're making the youth commitment, where we sat down together and each one contributed from their own field of expertise. And I think that's beautiful, and that translates also on a governance level, because I'm thinking if we're speaking about protecting 30% of our oceans by 2030, and the current state of things is that, I'll speak from a policy perspective because that's what I know. They're not harmonized. International law is open to interpretation and all those things. And we need to correct those things. And each and every country, each and every state, each and every person needs to come to the table and contribute what they can for us to achieve this collective goal. And I think Palau really set the bar high in that regard. So Panama, next year, we've got our eyes on you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And I also thought that this whole experience was pretty amazing, maybe overwhelming a little bit, made me emotional sometimes when we were all together with the youth delegates, and just learning from international and youth, and also the high level experts and leaders, and just for us to be able to engage with the youth being engaged is another thing that really got me excited about the work that still needs to come, and how we can continue to fight, and how we need immediate and fast action, not just what we say now, but we want to make sure that it continues. The work for our oceans and protecting our environments and climate change. And for me, I think one of my favorite parts was making sure that the Palauan youth get exposed to international youth and learn from them and see potentials that we can have going out of Palau to go to school or go to work or do research, and then make sure that we come back and support our communities and help our country. And I think that's a really important thing oh, that's one of my priorities because I went to school, went to get my bachelor's, came back. I went to go get my master's and came back, and it was one of my priorities to come and make sure that I support and work in my community and make sure that not just for me to know that I am Palauan and learn how to speak more Palauan, but to also make sure that the younger generations still have that Palauan culture and identity as we grow up. So, yeah. So, just another question for all of us. What are some things you would like to see happen in the future in your countries or in Palau? Like, what are your vision? What's your vision after our oceans, after you guys leave?
Okay, I can start. Well, in Panama, we are fighting with our sharks. We don't have like public policies that protect the sharks. We still have fins. How do you say it, like
Shark
fishery?
finning.
And I would like public policies, especially those also related to the environment, to be implement for MPAs, that they create awareness also in coastal communities and in society in general. Support indigenous communities and implement schools in these communities and in the province that they don't have like internet access, light, water. So like that start with a better education in these areas. We need education, we need still like fighting for education in Panama, also here, global, in all the world. The education is like primarily to keep the awareness for the environment, to save the ocean and to learn more about it. How can we protect something that we don't know what we have? So, yeah, I want to keep fighting for these policies for my country, that the MPA areas have this marine security active. Like, they need to keep protecting these areas and, like, try to the laws are, like, done. So yeah, and for the fisheries, sustainable fisheries and blue economy.
Thank you. I think for me, my primary responsibility coming out of this conference is just to, and I touched on this during my plenary session, it's just my responsibility to ending what I call sea blindness, which is basically the lack of awareness on the possibilities or the potential that the ocean has in resolving our problems, and also in that same regard, our collective responsibility in ensuring that we protect our oceans. Because it's one thing to say, oh, we're going to have these policies, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But if we, on a personal level, don't have a sense of responsibility, we're going to have this problem for generations to come. And we speak of 2030, who's going to be alive then? It's not too far, it's us, it's the youth. And it's those coming behind us as well, because there are no gatekeepers to this work. And so we must ensure that we are equipped with the knowledge and the sense of responsibility that we need, and those that come behind us also do the same, so that this work continues for generations to come. And we don't have to have this same conversation 50 years from now. I think for me that's the biggest thing. And also in that, because that involves a lot of governance, and just to ensure that youth are included, the youth voice in governance processes. Like I said, there are not gatekeepers, and I think from this conference we can tell the youth are ready, we are willing to do the work, and so yeah, thanks.
So with my experience in this conference, like what David said, especially in Palau, where we hosted it, what do you call that? So this is a big awareness factor to the people of Palau and everyone around our Oceans conference. So we have the awareness, and now we just have to have the support. In my opinion, with the support, I think we can get a lot of good positive reinforcements coming from that. So with the awareness and support, I feel like we can do more in this 30% protected areas by 2030. What I would like seeing to be implemented in Palau is probably, we do have a lot of marine protected areas, but it wouldn't hurt to have more. We could have one, or extend some of our MPAs, just so we can have more input in this campaign.
I think for me, I know it's not a lot of Palauan people were involved, like as much as we were. But one of the main focus on the sustainable fishery thematic area was the empowerment to the people of the coastal communities and people that rely heavily on the coastal communities. And in Palau, there is, I think all of Palau is a very coastal community, and some areas in Palau, will just say like some of the states in Palau, their fishery management is very underdeveloped or has not been given much attention. And some areas in Palau are fortunate to have had that. And I think for the many years back, it's been on the same areas. They've been focusing on the same areas and still leaving out some. So I think for me, for Palau, I would really like to be able to see the other communities and kind of develop and have the same opportunities as the other communities in Palau have. For example, in Ngaraard and in Koror, access to markets and access to transportation used for fishing is very accessible to fishers compared to other communities, especially just in Ngatpang, in Ngaraard, in Newell. They don't have the same opportunities, and I don't know why, and I would like to find out, and it would be my goal to see that happen and be able to be a help to those communities. So long.
Thank you. Okay, for me, I'll just like to say that with the different thematic areas that we've had for our Oceans Conference and being able to learn from the different issues within these thematic areas, I think for really it's to be able to change people's mindsets and behaviors, to be more cautious and aware of their own actions towards the environment, towards our oceans, in a way so that we can sort of be positively influenced in a way where we can start to do our own small impacts that make big change in terms of protecting and preserving our oceans. I think that was one of the main things in each of the thematic areas, where it's really just being able to bring awareness, education, changing the mindsets. For example, if you go to the store, maybe bring your own tote bag. You don't need to use plastic. Have a refillable water container like this here. Small changes that you can make in your daily lives can really help the global issues that we face today in the environment, and I think that's the first step into having small change and then going all the way up to international and global changes as well. So if anybody would like to say any last minute, any closing remarks?
Of next year's conference in Panama 2023 is our ocean, our connection. So Panama has been preparing this conference like 1.5 years. So will be a great connectivity also for the civil society, industries, youth commitments. We're gonna still fighting for our oceans. So everybody are invited to the next year conference.
Yes, I think we're all excited for Panama next year.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to say something. Sorry. Just a little something for the youth of Palau and for every youth. Take advantage of the many different programs that are offered in Palau. Specifically for us at Ebiil, we do have summer camps every year, and we have research camps as well. So if you guys see those flyers out there, please take some effort or just try it out. Something, even if it's not about the ocean or not about conservation, anything, just take advantage of it, because that's pretty much how I got into this field and being able to apply and be accepted into our Oceans Conference. So yeah.
Yeah, I think my closing remarks would just be a big thank you to the minister, the government of Palau, everyone involved in organizing the Ocean Conference, my fellow delegates in the studio, and those that have, gone on back home, and the ones that are still here. It's been a great honor and privilege to be here, to be with you all, and to learn from all of us, really. And my core is, I think each generation has a sense of purpose of what they're supposed to do. Those that came before us were involved in decolonization and all of these processes, and I think every day I'm beginning to lean towards the fact that ours might be to contribute to saving the ocean and, in effect, save ourselves. And so I think we really must heed this call and do every bit of just putting effort into this work. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank you so much.
So for me, I just want to send a message to everyone watching. It doesn't mean that you have to be youth. You can be youth, you could be a teacher, you could be a leader. If you guys have any information about any of this, our oceans, MPAs, sustainable fishing, blue economy, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're always available as local delegates. And if you do want to speak to David or Alexandra, we can also give you their contacts. So again, there can never be enough awareness. And with more awareness, I feel like we get more support, and with more support, we can get our work done. So we will be here 24/7 in Palau and outside of Palau. So feel free to give us a call.
Okay, last one. We'll just like to thank Minister Tutul and his staff, Giru, Kenley, Janine, Steven, and the ADB staff, Lara, Kara, Sean, right? That's his name. They were a very big help in organizing the youth delegation, and we want to let them know that they're very appreciated, and we know that we probably gave them a headache the whole week, but it was really fun to be working with them and have them organize all of this, so thank you.
Can I close with
Okay.
one world say that we're still recognizing that the connection to our ocean must be nurtured with each generation. Our Ocean 2022 contribute of young leaders who are innovating and advocating to protect our oceans. So everybody need to take this awareness and also keep in mind that you can do like a minimum things to save our oceans. So keep it in mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.